Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Precisely Nowhere. Very happy to be back for another episode and happy May. We are so close to summer. I feel like it is around the corner and I cannot wait personally because I am a summer baby and I love the sunshine, warm weather, being able to be outdoors without a jacket or a coat and layers and getting that vitamin D. Also wearing lots of sunblock because let's be real, while I do know that aging is part of growing, I would like to preserve my youthful skin as long as I can and also protect it because the sun rays are strong. So that is a PSA to wear sunblock. I did not wear that much sunblock when I was a teenager or in my early 20s because I cared more about being tan than protecting my skin, to be honest. So learning from there, like learning, definitely learning and growing. And I'm wearing lots of sunblock now. Would I like to be tanner? 100% because I love how I look when I'm tan. But coming to the realization that I also love having great skin that isn't sun damaged. So it's a slippery slope and fine line there. But random stream of consciousness thoughts from a 30-year-old and someone who has spent many years working in New York City in that hustle culture. She's tired. She needs to preserve her energy now and also wants to look her best because I'm thriving and I want to let's be real. I want to look young. I want to look young for as long as I can and do it in the most natural way possible. So this is it. This is where we're at. I have been dabbling with Botox slash I did get Botox for the first time almost 2 months ago. I got a little bit, not a lot. It's not even actually noticeable, in my opinion, since no one's noticed it. It's been really nice to not see all of my wrinkles. I don't know if it's from I'm very expressive in my face and have been for years. That might be part of it, but I always thought to myself that I would be able to wait longer and I could wait longer. I didn't need to get it, but my mom is also in the medical field and has done Botox for years. And I used to joke with her that I would want it. And she's like, no, no, no. I knew I was ready when she was like, I think you could use a little bit of Botox. And I don't take offense to any of that because I was feeling like I wanted it, but I was trying to hold out. So that's me saying, I don't think Botox is a bad thing. And you can definitely go overboard using it, but that is not how I'm planning on using it. And I'm not planning on getting it that frequently. So I am enjoying it. I'm letting you all into my secret because it is something that I haven't blasted out to the world because there's no reason for me to just put it out there. If you're listening, now you know, but it's not really a secret. It just doesn't really come top of mind in conversation when I'm randomly talking to people. And more stream of consciousness thoughts. I have been watching SNL recently and I forget how much I loved watching it when I was younger. I think nowadays there's so many things to watch that I honestly forget that it is around, but my boyfriend likes to watch it. So it is really funny. I love Keenan, just seeing these people that I've seen around and other being stand-up comedians on their own or making their way from Nickelodeon and Disney Channel and now they're on SNL. It's very inspiring and wanted to talk about SNL thoughts because I've been recently watching it with my boyfriend. It is hilarious. It feels very reminiscent of 90s and 2000s in a lot of the skits and fashion that they use and slight subliminal messaging. And it's been a minute since I've watched it, but after watching it and seeing a very strategic product placement with some of these skits, it's very interesting to watch it from a consumer mindset because I do work in marketing and advertising. So I pick up on the product placement and the subtle ways that they're integrating products into their skits. So, and focusing, some of them focused really solely on like one brand. It was very entertaining and engaging. But in the back of my mind, I was like, is this America's way of subliminal messaging and getting us to purchase brands and products? They're just putting it front and center, integrating it into things that we love, and we're not even realizing it. It's wild to think about Is it a conspiracy theory? Not sure. Could it become one? I'm sure. I think it's fascinating how much brands have weaved their way into all types of media in a way that it's very normalized nowadays. And I love a good product placement and advertisement. So this is not me being against that. I just think it is fascinating to see how far we come from years ago in the 80s when that was starting to be more present, like truly present brand partnerships and product placement. And here we are now where it is everywhere we look, from social media to watching SNL and lots of other television shows, scripted and non-scripted. So it is fascinating. I was watching Seth Rogen, and I feel like he's the Jack Black of our generation, is what I'm realizing. He has really evolved as an actor from Superbad and all of those raunchy comedy films, which I love, to now he's doing more hard-hitting film. Very fascinating. And I feel like Jack Black had that similar career path and how he evolved in this movie, Orange County, which is a 2002 movie. I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my list. So if you've watched it or haven't watched it, you should check it out. It looks really good. My boyfriend's watched it and highly recommended it. So I'm in a nostalgic state of mind right now. I don't know if it's because my inner middle schooler angsty emo self is like coming out now that I'm 30, and some of these things are feel good for me, but I'm leaning into it and have been watching some older TV shows and movies that just are feel good and take you back to simpler times when life was simpler, because it was simpler when we were kids, let's be real. Wanted to also update everyone on my trip to New York City, which was so fun. I got to celebrate one of my best friends, her bachelorette, and we did a really low key day on Governor's Island. We had a picnic, and then we went to, there's a spa on Governor's Island, highly recommend. We went to that spa, spent the afternoon there, and then we went to dinner at this place called Morandi, which is an Italian food place in the West Village. Highly recommend. It was super chill, long day, but really great vibes, really great people. I'm so excited for my friend to get married in a month. I was recently talking to a few people at work about trips versus vacations and wanted to talk about it and share my thoughts here because I haven't really given it much thought, but it's so interesting to me, and it's something that I'm gonna be more conscious of as I continue to plan trips, is the idea that there's a trip, which is, for instance, my trip to New York City, where I was on the go, out and about, not a lot of relaxing downtime, but still really good times. I had dinner with a few of my best girlfriends. I walked around the East Village with my best friend, and we went into a lot of little local shops and got some cool art prints and just really like basked in the beauty of spring in New York City. So I was pretty active and had a little bit of downtime. And that, in a nutshell, can be an example of a trip, versus a vacation is a resort maybe, or beach time. Maybe you're more sedentary in the fact that you are waking up, going to the beach, hanging out at the beach, then going to dinner, less in the city hustle and bustle, which is fascinating for me to think about because I feel like I've had both trips. I took a trip to Nice once when I had been out of college for a year and I hadn't taken any vacation because it was my first job, and it was that generation where you start a new job and you don't want to take time off because that makes you look bad, you know? So, or that was my mentality when I was in my early career. So, didn't take any vacation. A year comes around, my brain was fried. I needed to go on a trip. I went to Nice, France alone. That was my first solo trip. And this was the summer of 2016. So I went for, I think, a little less than 2 weeks. It was an awesome trip. Very scary and daunting at the beginning because I had never been on a solo trip. I also didn't speak any French, and I was nervous to go somewhere alone. But after doing a lot of research, I found that Nice was very safe, especially for single solo female travelers. So I did it. I booked myself an Airbnb in town, walking distance to the beach. I would sleep in, go eat lunch, have some french fries, have some rosé, and then go lay out. They have lots of cabanas and beds that are very affordable. And then they bring you food as well. So it's amazing. It's paradise. I went and did a little bit of sightseeing in the local towns, but it was very much a vacation. I came back feeling very refreshed and also had a lot of time to myself to think because I didn't know anyone and I was trying to be friendly but also cautious because alone in a country by yourself, especially when I think I was 22, I wanted to make it back alive in one piece. And I mean, now being 30 and more sure of myself, I definitely know when I travel alone, I have that confidence in me to talk to certain people or not talk to certain people, push myself out of my comfort zone already. But when I was going to Nice, I was definitely pushing myself out of my comfort zone by traveling alone. So that was a whole thing in itself. And looking back, I think to myself, could I have made some more friends or talked to more people for sure, but I was doing my best and I did go out a couple nights, but being a single female, you just have to be very cautious of you're there alone and you never know what's going to happen. And I think New York City really prepared me for going somewhere new and being conscious of my environment. Studying abroad did as well, but highly recommend solo travel. I think it really changes you as a person in the best ways of you get to know yourself more fully when you're alone and all you have to do is worry about yourself. And I had so much time to reflect. I came back knowing that I there were certain things that I wanted to work on in terms of my friendships and also myself, finding that balance with work. I knew that I couldn't continue to work a whole year and barely take time for myself. That was going to burn me out, and I did not like the feeling of being burnt out because even on my trip, I had a great time, but I was exhausted just from life. So lessons learned and tried to continue reminding myself to not burn myself out because it is such a slippery slope when you're very ambitious and you came up in this hustle culture. I feel like I'm trying to unlearn the ways of working that are toxic, but at the same time, still continue to maintain my where I'm at in my company and grow a bit more. I don't want to climb up the corporate ladder entirely, but I do want to grow a little bit more. And that's also because cost of living, let's be real, is not getting any cheaper. And it takes a lot nowadays to have the basic things. I'm sure as you're listening, than the previous generation. Like previously, one person out of a traditional family household had to work. Nowadays, usually both work and daycare and even just trying to buy a house or a car, everything adds up. So do I want to be climbing the corporate ladder for the next 20 years? Definitely not, but a little bit more. And then I just want to be enjoying life. Like I have a corporate job, but I also have a life outside of that. And I am saying this out loud to remind myself it because I feel like lately I have been struggling to find that harmony of I can kick ass at work and also kick ass in life and feel like I am fulfilled without my job. And my trip to New York City gave me some time to think. So, trips are also really great. They don't have to be always on the go. I do think it's fascinating to think about the difference between a trip and a vacation and finding time for both of them. So, I am, as I've been talking about, trying to think about a girls' trip or vacation for later this year, which I think would be really nice to just go somewhere, do some sightseeing, but really enjoy what that environment has to offer and let myself relax because I think that it's hard for me to relax sometimes. And since it's the beginning of the month, I did want to take time to do a manifesting exercise that we haven't done in a while, and I definitely need it. So I'm not sure if you're listening if you feel like you need it, but I think it could be helpful as we all gear up for summer. So the wouldn't it be nice if for me, I'm going to say a few things that I am trying to focus on to help you as you're listening. And if you want to do this exercise on your own, think of what works for you. So it doesn't need to be a long list. I started with 4 things that are very high level. And the purpose of this is to really focus on these things that I'm trying to bring to life. And for the next month is what I'm going to start with. So give yourself time and give yourself grace to bring these things to life. My first one is, wouldn't it be nice if I embrace the present day and let myself live in it and all its glory? And what I mean by that is sometimes I feel like I can be present in the moment, but not really be present because in my mind, I'm thinking about 5 million different things and really just embracing the day. And I don't want to be too dramatic, but like it's not like it's the last day, but just really embracing the day, not thinking too far ahead, living in the moment. And another one is, wouldn't it be nice if I spent time on my mental health and prioritize that for the greater good of my well being? I'm going to just run through the rest of them and then I'll elaborate. Wouldn't it be nice if I set boundaries and felt comfortable asking for help when I need it? And wouldn't it be nice if I let myself take breaks, rest, and recharge? So, all of these are things that I feel like I need to focus on because my corporate job has been very demanding. There have been lots of life changes in my personal life. All of these are really good things, but amidst that, I am finding it hard to take breaks, rest, recharge, ask for help if I need it and I'm feeling overwhelmed, and with so much going on, stay present. So, in taking time to reflect, I am now making an actionable plan to focus on things that I want to make a reality in my life. It's not going to happen overnight, but hopefully over the next few weeks, I will start to put action to these things and then really make an impact in my life and have this ideal state. So, manifesting isn't just a thing that happens overnight, but you start with focusing your thoughts and then you take those focused thoughts and you turn them into action and you make them habits in your day to day. And before you know it, you see the results. So I hope that you enjoy this exercise. I think that we could all use a reset now and again. And you can start small by just one thing. Honestly, the way that life has been recently, I'm not sure I'll get all of these things in the next month, but I'm gonna start to try to at least focus my thoughts on them because I find that when I focus my thoughts on the things that I want to bring to life versus the things that might be stressing me out or what I'm lacking, it's not productive and I end up being in that state even longer because I'm fixated on what isn't happening yet or what I'm not doing, and that is not how I want to spend my energy. I want to spend my energy on trying to bring to life the things that I know are going to fill my cup up more, not take from my cup and take my energy. So that is this month's manifesting exercise. I'm sure a lot of you that are listening are also hustlers and familiar with being on the go. And I used to be able to be on the go all the time, especially when I was single and I just had my 9 to 5 job. But now that I have this passion project, which is the podcast on the side, it just has made me realize even more that there are ebbs and flows in life, and we all need to give ourselves time and grace to recharge. It is much easier said than done, but I am trying to keep this top of mind so that it hopefully encourages you, if you're listening, to take time for yourself in whatever capacity that means and set those healthy boundaries so that you can live your best life and feel your best. Because what I'm also realizing is to feel and look our best, we need to be taking care of ourselves, and it's not just on the surface. And what I mean by on the surface is putting on moisturizer, washing our face every day, and putting on sunblock. It's also on a deeper level of going to therapy or journaling or doing things that are going to improve our mental health and our body internally, not just externally. So, those are things that are really important to focus on as we're all trying to grow and better ourselves in healthy ways. And as we wrap up the episode, wanted to share a few things that I've been watching lately because I know some of you that are listening enjoy these recommendations. So, Fallout, I'm not through it yet, but I started watching it. It's on Amazon Prime. My boyfriend was obsessed with it and binged it, and I started watching it with my best friend. So, I am giving it a chance. It is pretty violent, and I don't love to watch violent things. I watch period pieces and films, and those have violence in them sometimes, but it's violent, but in a way that it is very relatable to like a video game because it is based off of a video game. So, dystopian world as well. I am more intrigued on the dystopian world aspect and that storytelling. The violence doesn't really draw me in, but I'm dealing with it. It is really good. Highly recommend. I will give a full recap on it once I get through it. Don't want to give away any spoilers. Baby Reindeer on Netflix, very unhinged. There has been an unhinged slash dystopian world theme in my life right now. Something about these genres and type of content that really draws me in. And I think I really enjoy the cinematic storytelling in both genres as well. So, Baby Reindeer, there's going to be some cringe moments, but you work through them. And I really liked it. And it's based off of a true story. And it's set in the UK. So, you should check them out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Other Summer House for all my reality TV Bravo lovers, Summer House. I love that show. I am currently watching that as well. If you're not into reality TV, then that's probably not for you. Yeah, that is pretty much it for this week. It's a short and sweet one. I am very excited to have more guest interviews this month and also have some content based on some of my recent adventures in California. So I can share recommendations for anyone that is listening, that lives in the area, or that finds themselves in the suburbs of Southern California. But there are lots of hidden gems here, is what I'm realizing as I venture out of my bubble. And I'm very glad that I'm doing it because it's making me more excited to be living here. And there is culture everywhere. You just have to find it and go out of your way to look for it. It's not always on your doorstep like it was in New York City. So I am embracing that aspect of being in the suburbs and just trying to enjoy the present instead of thinking about the future and what I want but don't have yet, or things that I hope to figure out but they're not figured out yet. I think that the planner in me likes to plan and know what's to come, and sometimes life doesn't work out that way, and personally, that can be unsettling, but if I am open to the perspective that the present is also pretty fucking awesome right now, I think that that is what's is worth focusing on versus what's to come eventually that I am not sure when it's going to come. If that makes any sense to anyone, I hope it does. But I love you all. Thank you for listening. And here's to a wonderful May, a great summer, sunshine, good vibes, and I will talk to you soon.
Music and editing done by Marco. You can find him at Midnight, MIDNITE _mind 80 on Instagram for more of his work.